Our hunting team left the village while the mist was still hanging in the air, heading towards Calanto, where the wild boars were wreaking havoc. In just a few nights, they had destroyed countless crops, threatening the villagers' entire harvest. As experienced hunters, we knew all too well, if we didn't act quickly, the entire village would be in danger. Armed with guns, knives, and traps, we moved into Calanto with one goal: to eliminate this threat. But as soon as the first shot rang out, amidst the cliffs and dense forest, we realized what was waiting for us in the darkness: a pack of monsters. Join us on this hunt. Wild boars are instinctive creatures. They always choose the same paths between their feeding grounds and hiding spots. And that predictable habit is their weakness. We waited in our ambush position. The sound of hunting dogs suddenly rang out. John immediately raised his rifle. A massive boar burst from the thick bushes, its black fur gleaming. Two shots took it down instantly. Swift, no hesitation, a successful start to the hunt. But Calanto's forest is never predictable. We kept our rhythm, moving on, and soon we took down a few more formidable targets. The team split up, each of us well aware of the boar's paths and shooting positions. I hid by the edge of a thicket, gripping my S686 tightly after what felt like an eternity of waiting. When a moment came, I took down a target that could have caused severe damage if left unchecked. But that wasn't going to happen, because our team was here. Despite the lurking dangers, we stood firm. This land is our home, and protecting it, well, that's something no one in our team needs to be reminded of. At the same time, my teammates took down a few more difficult targets. After hunting in the lowland forest, I quickly moved with the team up the hillside where there was a wider view, and it was the last line of defense before the villagers' fields. Mark was the first to spot a sign. A wild boar was moving through the valley, trying to sneak up to the farmland. The moment it emerged from behind the trees, John was ready. One shot rang out, taking the beast down before it could cause any damage. Our coordination isn't just from training, it's the result of hundreds of life and death moments shared together. The calm didn't last long. Mark and John discovered a new danger, silently advancing through the dense bushes to control the creature's movements. From my vantage point, I saw a dark figure dart out from the trees, heading straight for them, fast and vicious. Without hesitation, I signaled a warning. They reacted instantly. A single shot rang out, sharp and decisive. The beast dropped before it could even get close. Even with danger so near, our hunters remained calm and composed, handling the situation with the experience that only comes from years of hunting. If you think this moment was cool, give us a like. By late afternoon, the sun still blazed. I received word from my teammates. A group of wild boars was moving along the hillside. After a full day of tracking, we were finally seeing results. I held my position, preparing to intercept, setting up the strategy we had agreed upon. The moment it emerged from the thicket, I aimed my rifle and BM. The sound echoed in the silence, powerful enough to send the entire group of boars into a panic. Another shot rang out, splitting the group, forcing them to scatter deeper into the forest. They no longer dared to approach the lush cornfields below. Victory requires careful preparation, quick action, and smooth coordination between people who share the same goal of protection. By the time the day was ending and we were packing up to head home, we suddenly spotted a wild boar emerging from the opposite hillside. The hounds were already barking, pushing the furious beast towards us. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle and fired the first shot. The boar quickly ducked behind a thicket, but the hounds didn't miss a beat, driving it back into the open. A second series of shots rang out, securing the beast. The whole team climbed into the Range Rover, our vehicle packed with the day's haul, as we made our way back down the trail. In each of our hearts, there was a quiet joy, knowing we had protected the forest and ensured the peace of the villagers. Follow us for more thrilling hunts and heart-stopping adventures in the snow-covered forests in the next episode.
Get ready for a tense and exhilarating hunt where every second is a battle of wits with the untamed wilderness. In this video, we'll take you through dense forests and endless open fields, facing fierce wild boars in heart-pounding ambushes. The rifles are loaded, hunting instincts are alive, so let's begin the journey. Our journey starts deep in the forest, where sunlight filters through thick canopies, casting mysterious shadows. Every step must be cautious, for even the faintest noise could send the prey fleeing. This is not just a sanctuary for wildlife, it's a battlefield that tests both intellect and hunting skill. We began tracking in the western forest. Hidden among the thick foliage of the old-growth woods, every sense was on high alert. Suddenly, a dark blur shot through the leaves. Instinct kicked in. I quickly raised my rifle, took careful aim, and squeezed the trigger. The shot thundered through the forest. The target collapsed instantly, ending a tense pursuit. Wasting no time, I chambered another round, eyes sharp, scanning the forest for the next hunt. In the nearby forest, my teammate John was also zeroed in on his target. A boar was attempting to slip away, weaving through the dense undergrowth in search of cover. John raised his rifle, locked the target in his sights, and held steady. The gunshot shattered the silence. The bullet tore through the air like an arrow in the wind, deadly accurate. The beast dropped instantly, unable to resist. I let out a breath of relief as the forest returned to its natural stillness. Then the hounds were unleashed, darting like arrows through the thick woods. They picked up the scent quickly, skillfully driving the prey toward us. My hunting instincts surged. The first shot was a feint, bait to lure the target in. Then, out of nowhere, a massive shadow charged. I gripped my rifle firmly and fired. Boom! The boar collapsed, lifeless, and silence returned to the forest. In less than a minute, the beast had been brought down. Here, the rule is simple. Hunt or be hunted. There is no third option. Leaving the dense jungle behind, we headed toward a vast open field where the boars had been quietly hiding. They had treated the rice paddies like a banquet table, tearing up farmland and rooting through the young crops. The rifles were ready, the radios were live, every piece of gear prepared. The hunt was on. Standing in the middle of the wide field, I lined up my sights on the prey. My heart pounded, but the boar's carelessness gave me my shot. The bullet exploded from the barrel, cutting through the air, striking the target square in the body. It dropped instantly, another threat neutralized. This shot wasn't just about restoring peace to the countryside. It was a clear warning to the destroyers. There will be no second chances. The next target entered my sights. Across the field, a pack of aggressive boars was tearing through the crops. The distance was long, enough to make the difference between success and failure. I held my breath, steadied the rifle, and aimed. Time seemed to freeze. And then boom. The bullet screamed through the air, the sound of the shot echoing across the fields. The boar stumbled, then collapsed. Another trophy for the day. Tonight's feast would be a grand one, especially after a long, exhausting hunt. From a patch of grass nearby, I checked my tracker. There it was. The boar wandered the field, unaware that death was closing in. I locked the target in my crosshairs, ready to deliver the final verdict. The animal kept moving, but I didn't falter. I took a deep breath, held my aim, and fired. The bullet flew like a divine arrow, striking the target square in the head, headshot. The boar dropped instantly. Behind that shot lay a hunter's duty to protect. This hunt wasn't just a game of instinct, it was a matter of survival for the locals, a safeguard for the land and the harvest. Today's chase ended in pure adrenaline. From the harsh depths of the forest to the open fields, nothing could stop the hunter's determination. Every gunshot wasn't just the end of a hunt, it was a powerful declaration. Here, humans still hold the line between peace and chaos.
The once golden fields of Florida now lie barren, scarred with chaotic trails. Surrounding them are thick swamps and dense hills, perfect hideouts for the menace that has left farmers sleepless, fearing for their crops. As the crisis escalates, local authorities have issued an emergency hunting order. Today, professional hunting teams and their fierce hounds step into battle, not only for safety, but to reclaim the livelihood of hundreds of farming families. At first light, John's hunting team was already on the move, their truck loaded with gear, charging straight into the Florida swamps. Upon arrival, the team spread out into pre-assigned positions without delay. John and his partner boarded a small boat, setting out to track down the beasts. Barely 15 minutes later, John's sharp eyes locked onto a wild boar wallowing in mud. Without hesitation, the gunshot rang out, eliminating the threat in an instant. A clean, precise, and swift shot, the perfect opening for today's hunt. Leaving the boat behind, John quietly advanced deeper into the swamp, slipping into his hidden post. From afar, he spotted a wild boar engrossed in foraging, oblivious to the intruder nearby. With swift, practiced motions, John raised his weapon. The sharp crack of the gun shattered the silence. One single shot, neat, decisive. In the blink of an eye, another victory was secured, accurate, efficient, and merciless. Before John could move in to confirm his kill, the furious barking of hounds drew his attention. He rushed toward the sound. Just minutes later, he arrived at the scene, a wild boar surrounded by a relentless pack of hunting dogs. John raised his gun and fired a direct shot. One bullet was enough, the beast collapsed heavily to the ground. Another threat eliminated, another safeguard for the farmer's crops. A sharp crack echoed through the forest, signaling the hunter's arrival. Kevin's familiar hunting truck pushed through the dense undergrowth. As soon as they arrived, the team split into their assigned posts. Moments later, a wild boar ambled lazily across Kevin's sights. Calm, precise movements, then the trigger squeeze. The shot was flawless. The threat was neutralized before it could vanish into the forest. Pressing deeper into the forest, Kevin's eyes scanned every shadow. Suddenly, a boar charged straight at him. A shot fired. Instantly, the beast fell to the ground. But before relief set in, another boar lunged from the thicket. Kevin fired again, but missed. The beast vanished into the depths of the woods. Unfazed, he began tracking its trail. The hunt was far from over. It wasn't long before Kevin and his team located their quarry through binoculars. The boar hid among thick tree trunks, unaware of the hunters closing in. Seizing the moment, Kevin took aim. The powerful shot echoed through the forest. The beast staggered, tried to escape, but soon lay lifeless on the cold ground. For decades, wild boar have been a nightmare for farmers in the southern United States. They don't just destroy crops, trampling entire rows right before harvest, they also attack livestock, and at times even pose a deadly threat to humans. Their growing presence has turned once peaceful farmlands into places of constant unease. That's why we decided to embark on this hunt, not only to control the population of these destructive creatures, but also to protect the piece of the land we call home. Will today's journey bring the results we hope for? Let's find out together. We set out in the team leader's Ford F-150 under the cover of darkness. When the tires stopped at the edge of the field, the headlights went out completely. The team moved quietly along narrow trails, guided only by faint beams from our flashlights. The night hunt had begun. Through the dim shadows of the field, the scope revealed a herd of wild boar busily tearing up the soil in search of food. I shouldered my rifle, picked the largest one, and squeezed the trigger. The gunshot shattered the silence of the night. It dropped instantly. The herd panicked, scattering in all directions. Without wasting a second, my teammates and I swung our barrels and kept firing, bringing down the remaining targets, one by one. As the echoes faded, only the sound of heavy breathing and the faint smell of gunpowder lingered in the cool night air. We spread out again, scanning the fields for more prey. It wasn't long before dark shapes emerged, a few lone boars digging quietly in the dirt. We moved into position, rifle steady. Bang, bang, bang. Sharp cracks rang out from multiple directions. Each shot found its mark. Every target went down instantly. Within seconds, the stillness returned to the endless darkness. Moving deeper in, the sweep of our flashlight beams caught another herd feeding in an open patch. I picked my target and fired. The boar collapsed, thrashing briefly in vain. The noise sent the rest scattering, leaving behind only the torn earth where they'd been feeding. After a relentless night of pursuit, we kept tracking hoof prints and freshly dug soil. As the first light of dawn spread, we decided to change course, heading toward another field. One local said the boar often raided. We were crossing an open patch when a loud rustling erupted from a large clump of brush, as if something was tearing the ground apart. My teammate raised his hand, signaling us to stop, his eyes locked on the shadows ahead. Then, suddenly, a massive boar burst out, charging forward with the force of an arrow. Without hesitation, Nick, already locked onto the target, squeezed the trigger. The crack of the rifle split the still morning air. The beast staggered, skidded forward, and collapsed face first into the damp soil. Moments later, the frantic barking of hunting dogs echoed from a distance, urgent and relentless, a sure sign of an intruder. We rushed toward the sound. From a thick patch of grass, the huge boar suddenly bolted out. But it had no way out. With my rifle ready, I aimed and fired. The animal froze mid-stride and dropped in the middle of the path. What do you think of that moment? Let us know in the comments. Exhausted from the all-night chase, we climbed into the Ford F-150 to head home. As we crossed an open strip of field, a sudden scene unfolded ahead. The hunting dogs were in full pursuit of a massive dark figure. The beast charged straight toward our vehicle. Without hesitation, my teammate flung open the door, jumped down, and took aim. Just as the boar lowered its head to strike, the shot rang out, stopping it in its tracks. It dropped motionless. The team burst out laughing, shaking off the fatigue still clinging from the night before.
Olha isso, galera!
The hunt ended in triumph and pride, with every intense moment against these monsters of nature captured perfectly on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. We confirmed that all activities strictly followed local hunting regulations, helping protect both crops and the livelihoods of the people here. If you enjoy thrilling journeys like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can join us on our next hunt.